28.
28.
28 piccolos.
30.
30 clarinets.
31.
31.
31 trumpets.
22.
22.
22 mellophones.
11 baritones.
23.
23. 23 alto saxes. 12.
12 tenor saxes.
27.
27 drummers.
2. 2 majorettes.
11 trombones.
4.
4.
4 drum majors.
13. 13 tubas.
16.
16. 16 color guard.
This
This.
is the pride of the ACC.
Hello once again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Pride of the ACC. My name is Adam Pohl, and joined again by the head of University Bands in Jeff Fuchs. And boy, Jeff, here we go. It's a week that we've been really looking forward to. Obviously, we're airing here tonight on Friday evening, and just tomorrow morning is a very special event, a new twist on a special event that you've been a part of here for decades at Carolina.
Yeah, we'll really miss seeing our alumni in person, but we can't wait to see them online. Our annual alumni reunion kicks off at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning with a kind of an all-call Zoom where everybody will be together, and then at 10:30 we'll break everybody out and go. They can go separate ways to Zooms. We have rooms set up, kind of based on who was the director or assistant director when they were here. So we have a room for the Major Y era, for the Jim Heil era, Brian Doyle, Matt McClure, and then the R.S. Golden, Aaron Cooper, kind of the current era. So we're really looking forward to a lot of alums coming back, and I'm looking forward to bouncing back and forth between the rooms. And that 10 to 12 time tomorrow morning will be a great time to reconnect with your marching Tar Heel friends and see each other, and then we can all watch the UNC Duke football game at noon on TV and cheer the Heels on, just as we would if we were there.
And you know, a few caveats to that. Number one, it's free, so it's the right price, right? And number two, if you can only be there for a half hour, it's not a problem, right? I mean, so you don't have to be there for the full 2 hours. You be there whenever you can do it, and we'd love to have you. And a third, obviously, where is the best way to access the link? Because that's what it's going to be. You're just going to click on a link and be able to go right into it.
Right. So we've got the links on our Facebook page, the official Marching Tar Heels alumni page. It's there. We sent our alums 2 different emails this week with all the links on them. And certainly, if anyone's watching and needs a link, they can send me an email at jeff@unc.edu. and I will send them the links to that. But again, Facebook, the official UNC Bands page of Facebook, and then on the emails. And don't hesitate to send me an email. You can also send one to marchingtarheels@gmail.com, and we can send you the links.
So we're really looking forward to tomorrow morning. We're also looking forward to this show, though, Jeff. And, we're going to look at the tuba section today. We're going to get in touch with really an old friend of ours, and Brian Doyle, who was a part of the band program when I was in the marching band, and look at one of the most unique shows called the Western Show that the band really has ever done. I can't wait to watch that one together here upcoming later in the show. But we're going to start with a look at our band service sorority in Tau Beta Sigma. Now, when I was around a few years ago, let's say, I was a brother of Phi Mu Alpha, and that is still one of the fraternities that is in the music department at Carolina. But there are really a lot of options on the Greek side of life if you were a music student at Carolina today.
Right, we've had Phi Mu Alpha and Sigma Alpha Iota, which are music fraternities and sorority that has functioned for many years. And about probably about 11 years ago now, the students organized and came to me and wanted to have a Tau Beta Sigma and Kappa Kappa Psi chapter. And we'll meet the Kappa Kappa Psi kids next week. But Tau Beta Sigma is an organization that's coeducational. So there's guys and girls involved, and their sole purpose is to promote the college band and to serve the college band. And so it's purely a band-centric organization, and they do so much for us. I wonder how in the world we got along without them. And actually I don't, because all of the students who did all of the things they now do would have been sisters of Tau Beta Sigma and brothers of Kappa Kappa Psi had we had those organizations. It's all kids who just love the band and who love to give back. And not only do they serve our band, but they also serve college bands in general. Next week, they're hosting an information session for high school kids online about what it's like to be in a college band. Certainly, we hope they'll come to our college band, but any college band. So it's a great group of students who benefit our organization greatly. And we're thrilled to have them as part of the family.
So there are leadoff hitters tonight. Let's check in with Tau Beta Sigma.
Hi, my name is Sierra Gillis. I'm one of the majorettes in the band and the current president of Tau Beta Sigma National Honorary Band Sorority here at UNC. TBS is a gender-inclusive sorority that aims to provide service to our college band, encourage music appreciation, educational achievement, and leadership development. TBS was originally founded in 1946 as an organization for women of the band to give back to a group that had given so much to them. Here at UNC, we continue that legacy of service through helping out the band during band camp, organizing uniform distribution, and helping out whenever we get the chance. We also work regularly with the Playmakers Theater on campus through volunteering whenever they need us, and also at the Communiversity After School program by teaching a lesson to children each week in music.
The Iota Lambda chapter of Tau Beta Sigma was chartered and founded on April 19th of 2008. We've served the UNC Band program through the completion of many service projects. Thank you so much to our wonderful charter mothers for making us the illest chapter around. It is an honor to be selected to serve.
To give you an idea of our membership, Tau Beta Sigma is really committed to equality and diversity. So we're open to all genders, and we don't discriminate against age, race, sex, gender expression, disability. We have about 20 members in our group, so we're a smaller chapter and we're very tight-knit, and we come from all sections of the band. And we also come from all different majors, so we have chemistry, French, media and journalism. You don't have to be a music major to join Tau Beta Sigma. What connects us all together is our passion and our love for music.
We do a lot of service in TBS, but there are a few national programs of ours that we focus on the most during the year. The first of these is Crescendo, which is a program that's centered around teaching young people about music and encouraging them to start or continue playing music. Chapters do this in different ways, but at UNC we work with the local Girl Scouts chapter to help them get their music badge. The second of these is Coda, which is all about cultivating and continuing music appreciation in the concluding passage of life. This comes from the musical term coda, which means the concluding passage of a piece of music. Last year we went to a nursing home and we played some Marching Tar Heels music for the residents and did a music guessing game with them. The last of our national programs is the Women in Music Speaker Series. Since one of our main focuses as an organization is to uplift and empower women in music, every year we invite a woman in a music profession to come and speak to us about her experience in that profession. It's an open event and we invite the public to attend as well as nearby TBS chapters.
One thing that I love in preparation of our game day is putting on my TBS game day button that one of our sisters made. On our social media, we have a TBS takeover where we take our followers throughout the course of our day. During the game, after our halftime performance, we usually pass out water to members of the bands, and depending on if the visiting team has a TBS chapter, we like to meet with their sisters and give them a gift that we all signed.
Hello once again, everybody. Welcome back to the Pride of the ACC. It's time for our part of the show where we focus on some of our current students. Of course, we just did that with Tau Beta Sigma, but we're going to do so with the tuba section today. And I'll tell you, Jeff, one of my favorite things about the tubas, they're the first wind instrument on the field for pregame. I'll never forget my good buddy Dave Bell. We called him Davey back in the day, but he's a professional now. He's a professor. But Davey, back in the day when he would march out before, we'd all be yelling for him, and he'd give us a little shuffle, a little strut, before we ran on the field around him. So it's always a special memory for me with the tubas.
Yeah, the Tubas are a very unique group, and they have some very unique opportunities and experiences. It's so funny with that. You talk about the Tubas coming out with the drum line at pregame. Every year we give the Tubas the opportunity. They can either run out with the band or they can march out with the drum line. And almost every year they say, no, let's run out with the band. And they do it once, and then they come and say, nah, we're going to march out with the drums. But every year they try, bless their hearts. But no, the tuba players are great. They have a special place in my heart because I'm an old tuba player. And so I know the pain they go through. But, they're carrying that big old heavy instrument around, and they're constantly up and down it in the stands. They have to get there early, stay late to get it on and off the truck. And then I'm riding them pretty hard because they're the pulse of the band, and we have to have them staying ahead of things. But they're a great group of kids, such a wonderful spirit about them. And, you got to have a kind of special disposition to be a tuba player. As I see them walking across campus, and, the piccolo players can put their horn in their pocket. The trumpet players is no big deal. And then here comes the tuba players lugging their 45 pounds across campus. They're a great group of kids, and some kids we really rely on to hold the whole ensemble together.
Well, folks, let's get entertained. What a fun group, our tuba section from this year.
Hello, my name is Ryan Hughes, and I am a senior information and library science major from Randleman, North Carolina.
And I'm Christian Davila. I'm a philosophy and communications major from Kernersville, North Carolina. Together, we are the section captains of the tuba section.
The tuba section is larger than it usually has been in our time here at Carolina. We have 13 members this year. We brought in a first-year class of 5, and then we have our lone sophomore, and we also have 3 juniors and 4 seniors.
On average, tuba players tend to be pretty out there sometimes. It takes a certain level of craziness to pick up the biggest instrument in the band and volunteer to run around while carrying it. So when you get a group of people who have that level of craziness and put them together in the same section, it's a recipe for a good time. Really, we're just fun-loving goofballs that like to stand out.
If you see us walking together on campus, you will almost always find us joking and laughing, because there is nothing like being with personalities you can find in the tuba section.
Our section is really diverse in terms of background and perspectives. There are a lot of different personalities, and I really love the way the energy of the section blends together.
We are so full of energy when we are together, and when we get hype, we stay hype. If you need a good example, just look at the tuba section next time you're in Keenan Stadium at the end of the third quarter.
The tuba section has its own mascot, actually. He's a stuffed lobster named Larry. We make sure to bring Larry to all of our band events and social gatherings. He's really become a part of the tuba family, sort of like the unofficial 14th member of the section.
Our fellow tubas come from all over the country, from places like Florida, New Jersey, Texas, and right here in North Carolina. And even though we come from different places, we still find ways to stay connected and keep our relationships strong. Because the tubas are not just a section, we are a family.
The section's family dynamic is what I love most about playing tuba. It's a small community of people who work hard and have fun, but at the end of the day, we really do all care about each other. The people in my section have become some of my closest friends, and these are friendships that will last way beyond my years spent at Carolina. Becoming a member of the Marching Tar Heels tuba section was one of the most rewarding decisions of my life.
Well, it's time to turn the page to the alumni side. Of course, we talked right out of the gate here in this show about our big alumni reunion tomorrow morning. And one of our good old friends that's going to be back with us tomorrow morning is who we're featuring today in Brian Doyle. This is from my era. And boy, Brian was somebody, as your assistant, Jeff, that just brought so much genuine, great energy to his role with the band, didn't he?
Yeah, I've been so blessed in my time here to work with such great people. Starting with my experience working with Jim, and then starting with Brian, and moving on through Matt and Steve, Aris, Aaron now, and yeah, Brian was really a great first colleague for me because he did bring an energy that is to this day, you get tired just listening to him talk, but it's so exciting, and he's so energetic, and but he also brought a big time tradition from Michigan State when he came to us, and we were a really good pair because of the Michigan State background and also his military background. A lot of people don't realize that he had the heart side of decision making down pretty cold, or the brain side, I should say. There was a lot of black and white to him, and those who know me, my heart gets involved sometimes too much. And so between the two of us, we had a pretty good run that we worked well together and off of each other. But he brought so much good stuff to the band, helped me those first 5 years we were together, and kind of get the wheels underneath the bus and the thing really rolling. And he connected with the students, just fantastic.
And I know that from those that were in the band in my era, which were Brian's years with the Marching Tar Heels, we always remember rehearsals and the articulation. It was all about how crisp we could be. He would always give us that, right? And that was always something we harped on, which is such an important part of the marching band, because you want things to pop, right? You don't want it to sound, when you've got so many musicians playing together, it's so easy for the sound to be muddled.
Yeah, well, it's a huge stage, and and there's there's 4 important surfaces that aren't there in a floor, walls, and ceiling. In most performance halls, you have reflective surfaces to help control all that. And in the outside arenas, you're performing on a soft surface, and then everything else is open air. So you really do have to exaggerate the articulation for it to communicate to the audience, because there's no bounce back off anything as it would be inside. If the band would play the same way inside as it does outside, it would almost be musically offensive. But Brian was great at getting the students to understand that, and getting the band to play with an energy in the sound that really started the whole thing off.
Well, folks, this was so much fun for me to have this conversation with Brian. The first thing he said is, "Adam, don't call me Mr. Doyle." But you're going to love it. Here's our chat with Brian Doyle.
Well, my name is Brian Doyle, and I was the Assistant Director of Athletic Bands for the Marching Tar Heels. My first year was in 1996, and my last year at Carolina was in 2002. Jeff Fuchs met up with John Madden at a women's basketball tournament, the NCAA basketball tournament, and they were chatting about things that the athletic band directors would chat about. And Jeff Fuchs mentioned that they had an opening at Carolina, and what they were looking for was someone to do assistant director of bands type stuff, as well as music ed stuff, and maybe teach saxophone. And John Madden says, "Hold on, don't do anything until this person gets in contact with you." And so some short time later, I get a phone call from John saying, "Drop everything, put together a resume, send it to this guy, Jeff Fuchs. Here's his fax number." And, this is before email, I think even, was really a big deal. So go ahead and send your stuff to him. And so I did. And I was teaching in Imlay City and really hadn't touched my saxophone very seriously for quite some time. And I get this call saying, we'd love for you to come down and interview for this position. We'd like you to play some music, et cetera, et cetera. And so I'm kind of freaking out because I have to all of a sudden put together a mini recital in, I think it was 3 or 4 days. I mean, it's really rather short notice. And things must have gone well because I went down. I got to meet Jeff and a number of the faculty at in the Department of Music, and I was offered the position a short time later. And I went, and the rest, as they say, is history. In the best kind of way, a big positive hootenanny, right? I mean, you've got people spread out all over, and lots of energy, and obviously a big football school. And even bigger in terms of the dynamics of the athletic program, sending bands to lacrosse and women's soccer and men's soccer. I mean, that was completely unheard of for me. And so that was a great opportunity as kind of one of the ringleaders in putting all of those schedules together. And Jeff was really good about kind of delegating those opportunities. Brian, you're going to be responsible for the athletic bands, and I'm like, or for the Olympic bands. I'm like, oh, okay. And so I got all those schedules from the coaches, and we figured out what dates everybody needed to play. And so that was a big positive growth opportunity for me as kind of an administrator as well as a conductor. But every time I was in front of the group, it was great fun. For me, some of the really fun trips were the basketball tournament trips we would go. And one of the ones that's probably the most memorable for me, because it was the most surreal in a way, was when we flew out to the West Coast and we were in Santa Barbara, and the women's team won. And instead of bringing us back to Carolina and then sending us to Portland, Oregon, we hung out for a couple days in Santa Barbara and then bussed up to Portland. So we were gone for a week and a half or whatever that was. I'd never been to Portland before, and that's a beautiful town. So that's memorable for me in just those experiences. But then getting to hang out with those students for such a long period of time. I mean, I had to proctor some, accept some homework, proctor some tests and exams. And that was just something that I hadn't had to do before because most of the trips we had were fairly short. So I'm the director of bands at the Crane School of Music at SUNY Potsdam. So I conduct the Crane Wind Ensemble, which was formed in 1956. And I conduct the Symphonic Band, which is one of 2 co-equal concert bands. And then I teach classes in conducting. And so I have, in the fall semester, I do conducting 1. And I just finished writing a book. But, interestingly, some good things do come out of the COVID situation, because it was because of COVID that we were able to have enough time cleared from our calendars from other things to be able to finish. So we did a hard push on the book, and it's selling very well. And so that's the book we use at Potsdam. So I do conducting 1 and conducting 3 in the fall, and then 2 sections of conducting 2 in the spring. You just have to continue to do the things that inspire you, that you love. You have to continue to find ways and means to smile throughout the day and laugh, even in the face of the situations that we're in. Nothing lasts forever. The sun always comes up the next day, and you have to kind of believe in that to keep yourself kind of positive. Otherwise, you can get pretty dark about it. And on some days, if you're feeling dark, well, embrace the darkness, and then nothing lasts forever. So that's kind of my mantra. Nothing lasts forever.
Welcome back here to the Pride of the ACC. Boy, that was a lot of fun with Brian Doyle. And, Brian was a part of the marching band, in your beginning. We've talked about, this is a cool theme, I think, that we've had in our series here, Jeff, in that we've talked about the evolution of the marching band from the more 70s, 80s, and 90s version of just playing songs and marching around on a field to actually telling a story. And this show we're about to go into, the Western show, which was also an alumni band event. So we're going to see the alumni band as well from about 5 years ago in 2015. This is a great example of just that.
This was a really fun show to work on. Probably 10 years ago, we started bringing Steve and Lytle in for 3 to 5 days over the early part of the summer, so we could sit down and spend time talking about the shows we were going to do and coming up with themes and since we weren't just doing shows, since we were patching things together like you've seen in the home show and the cartoon show, we were building more. And so one summer we came up with this idea to do a Western themed show and feature the story of Cowboy Tar. And so of course a horse had to be involved, and he had to lasso a bull, and of course the train had to run away. And this was about the time that Ohio State started doing all their picture shows and anime.
Yep.
And so we wanted to jump on that train and relive kind of what marching bands were doing in the 50s and 60s. So this was our venture down our first venture down that way. You'll see another venture on our next show in a week. But yeah, this was a lot of fun to put together, and probably one of the more difficult shows we've ever done. Because
I'm certain. My goodness, I mean, doing something like this is it's a lot different, right? I mean, everything has got to be perfect. Everything's really telling a story. It's not just marching in a straight line.
Yeah, and and so much marching band now, there's all these forms that they really don't make anything. But you're trying to get a horse to trot down a field that people have expectations, let's say. But this was a fun show, and we hope you enjoy the Western show from 2015.
Led on the field by drum majors Hannah Childress, Rebecca Johnson, Bobby Kavetsky, and Jonathan Minnick, the Marching Tar Heels invite you to direct your attention to the video board as they present an encore performance of The Legend of Cowboy Tar. The story begins with Cowboy Tar Heel of the Sturgards in Carver. He settles his horse heel, and off they go to restore order. And now, please welcome the members of the UNC Alumni Band who are in town this weekend for their annual reunion. We hope you enjoy our version of the 1968 Steppenwolf hit, Born to Be Wild. Ladies and gentlemen, the UNC Alumni Band and your Marching Tar Heels.
Boy, that was a lot of fun. The Western show, what a time. And it really lends to what we're excited to see in future years, the creativity, Jeff, that you guys will bring to the table here in the years to come with the Marching Tar Heels. Once again, we've got the alumni reunion tomorrow morning, so we hope to see you tomorrow between 10 and noon. And Jeff, it's hard to believe, but we only have one more show left in this, our first season. How about that?
Yes, it's been a great time, and certainly appreciate all the work that you and Samantha, Rachel, and Michael have done. And we need our viewers to get involved. We've got two big projects left here after the reunion tomorrow morning. We still got the Hark the Sound project working. And for our next show, since it's so close to Veterans Day, we've got a project coming out that'll be announced in email very soon for those of you who are in the armed forces. So be on the lookout for that so we can end this first season with a big bang in a week. But yeah, we look forward to seeing everybody tomorrow morning at the alumni reunion.
No doubt about it. It will be a lot of fun. So that's going to do it for us today. For Jeff Fuchs, my name is Adam Pohl, and this has been the Pride of the ACC. Have a great week, everybody.